lots of stuff.
Yep.
I have not played any games yet on this patch.
Yep.
I played some on PvE, and part of it is because I'm sitting right now for trials, but I'm gonna play in sub-regionals tomorrow.
Yep.
And so this is also kind of like a shitty spot where like I would like to get practice with higher elo players, but I don't want to play on my main, so I just kind of have to play on a new, like a Smurf ranked account.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess it is what it is. So yeah, just go through this list, and then if we have time, we could do some TFT Dojo. My guess is I have more than enough content here to cover like the whole session with questions.
Yep.
Okay, so we can start with this.
It's still a little small for me. Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Okay, so this is comparing this patch to last patch, both Diamond Plus, which is not perfect, especially at higher elo, but sample size is small. And then I also filtered this morning by last day. I don't know exactly if they do 24-hour filter or not, but because the hotfix was not technically a new patch, MetaTFT doesn't have like a separate filter for it. Like Ionia, Yanara, and Fast9 Draven did fall a little bit in the stats, so I think that shows a little bit, but it's not perfect. But I guess just like kind of get a high level picture. So Asol obviously looks really good. This one's been kind of surprising. We're just talking about it in the Discord. Do you see this often, or in what spots are you like kind of angling this? What people are talking about is like maybe you're going Asol, and then on your roll down you hit like a Seraphine 2 and you just stabilize there, go 9 with it, and then angle this. Or you get like a aura farming Annie or Azir, and then you could angle this. Or if you go Yordles, Fast 9, this could be the default instead of Riggs, because Riggs looks pretty bad. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this one?
So I assume this board is like the Seraphine core plus Arcanist Seraphine. Yeah, it's just literally that board except with an Annie on it. I will point out that the most common variation of that. Wait, is it? What is that? What is that Asol board? What is that saying?
Yeah, I think the data is probably getting mixed with Asol, which is why I don't necessarily trust this fully and wanted to get your thoughts on it.
I'll tell you what I think that is. I think it's mostly an Asol board, or like that line where you play towards Asol. The Annie is pretty good on the board. Like Annie Tibbers, pretty solid, especially if you don't have your Shuriman. All the Targons are bad, and then like most of the legendaries are not that good, and like having a Tibbers on the board is like fairly useful. This board definitely exists. Like the board exists. People play it sometimes, but it's just it's just truly a fast 9 board that I think is it's kind of rare to be able to get into a spot to play it. The spot is like you roll down on 8 and then you just hit a bunch of stuff and not the Asol. So you're carrying Seraphine up until you can get to Annie, and that's kind of it. The problem is that the items aren't even the same, so I don't know what exactly that is. I think it's a trick. I don't know how you get to exactly that board. But okay. Yeah, I don't know how you get exactly to that board. I think it's a stats trick, I think.
I mean, if you have like let's say you have adaptive and Shojin slammed, or I guess you want JG Nashers, right?
If you're playing Asol, you just wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
You have to have like an extra. I mean, like you would somehow have to have an extra copy of those items, which can happen. And then what would happen is like your damage items go on your Seraphine, and then your mana items go like your Shojin Void go on your Annie, and your JG Nasher go on your Seraphine. I think it's fine.
Right.
Like, can you look at the actual games? I am so curious about what these are. All right, now can you filter for anything above anything like Master Plus? Yeah, sure, this works. Is this Korean tech? What is this from?
Let's just do Challenger.
What region? VN? Is it VN board? Oh, it's probably
Korean, VN, Korean.
so APAC is playing.
Lil Bear. Lil Bear's also from Asia,
yeah,
right?
he's from APAC. Yeah, I mean that's an Ishtal game. No, okay, so that
yeah.
Little Bear played it from Ishtal, which makes sense because like that actually makes sense.
Okay, let's exclude Ishtal.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter that much. No, I don't know how these guys are getting to these boards.
It's all VN.
They're just playing AP Fast 9 into this board. That's it. That's all it is. It runs 4 Arcanist. You play the Annie, and you dual carry the Shreeman. It's a Fast 9 board.
Okay. Okay, so it seems like this is the preferred AP Fast 9 angle over Riggs then, because Riggs looks pretty bad.
I believe it. I believe in this, yeah.
Okay.
The Annie buff is like pretty reasonable.
Yeah, Dehua made a good point. There's no first here.
No first on the Fast 9 board, huh? Okay, yeah.
Okay. What else to call out here? Baron looks very good. How viable do you feel like Ionia is now? Like, because this is the Kindred thing still kind of mixed in the stats. Like, what power level do you think it?
I still think I think before it was like the best. It was like probably the best comp in the game on average.
Yeah.
Now it's probably not. It might have been one of the things keeping Asol in check. That thing actually giga count on Asol because it would delete one of its cats, which is usually enough to flip the fight.
Oh right.
Now I think it's like a low S or a high A tier comp. It's just a good comp.
Okay. So Fast 9 Draven, I assume, is just dead.
I don't know. I think it's maybe still reasonable. I'm not sure. I do think that the change to Kindred was for sure a buff, at least at 2-star for sure.
Okay, so even after the hotfix, you still think it's a net buff?
Yeah, especially because Draven is buffed. No, it's for sure like an insane net buff in my opinion.
Okay, so still could be viable. Like, are you willing to? You get Draven or
Draven, yeah. Draven
Kraken. You're willing to slam it. What about like heroic grab bag? You willing to dupe?
No.
Draven
that's just unless you have like 5 component opener or something. That's just never good in the first place.
Okay. All right, so then it's just a standard, like how Draven Fast 9 used to work, where you get it from an orb with a slam. You're usually not even streaking early. You probably want to roll on 3-5, hit a 2-star Draven, and then hopefully take that to 9.
I just hope that I don't have to roll even. Like I just hope that I play the early. I hope that I play the early game and mid game well enough that I'm just streaking. Because Draven is strong.
And you natural Draven too.
Yeah, or roll when you hit a critical massive pairs, and if Draven's one of them, then it's lucky.
Okay, so you put it at like A tier.
I guess, yeah. I would never force the spot. Like I would never like lost streak into playing it, but like if it's my best opener, I'm gonna play my best opener.
Okay. Let's see. Demacia last patch, the Lux Invoker variant looked better than the long shot variant, and then with the Kaisa change, it looks like they kind of converged more now. 4.2 here.
I noticed something similar. Yeah.
So now you kind of like playing either one is good.
Yep.
Although this one caps out lower, probably because you can't get to Ziggs as much.
Sure. Yeah.
But for top 4 purposes, this is still solid.
Yep.
Okay. What else had a big diff? Veigar fell off because of Fizz. Are you still willing to play Veigar? Like if you get a Pandora spot?
Pandora's. I'm pretty sure you have to somehow be holding Yorls, which is rare in my opinion, and then you need to get the rods quickly from deadlier caps rod or replication rod, and hopefully with a rod. Like I do not want to play this on low tempo.
Okay, and you're not even really trying to hold the Yordle, so basically you wouldn't end up in this line most of the time.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Wait, Dehua said Demacia is the only way to play towards Yordle or Veigar.
I mean,
Tempo.
That's just a different spot. The spot is like you literally get the
You have Sona
rod
2,
augment.
Jarvan
You
2.
literally get the rod augment on 3-2 or 4-2, and then you just unlock the Veigar and play it. Or
Oh, okay.
You just unlock it, play it on your Demacia board, and like drop like Lysandre or something. There's no way people play that board, or like it's just literally 7 Demacia.
It's just 7 Demacia with Veigar like this, and then just all the Demacians.
Yeah, you just dual carry the Veigar and like the Lux, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're already in Demacia and somehow get spot for...
I don't think doing that is good. My opinion is that doing that is not... I'm pretty sure you would usually rather do something else. Like with your augment or like... Or just like play around Liss or Zillion or something. That's my opinion.
Okay, like it's like okay in the stats. It's not
the 79
it's not amazing.
Played, it looks fine, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Viego. Oh wait, that's Viego Hero. Where's... Oh, Callista. Given that it's easier to unlock now, and I guess it just didn't really have a high cap before, especially if you don't hit Thresh 2, and all the other high cap stuff had been nerfed. How do you feel about Callista? And then also, how do you feel about the Callista / Velvet duo? Yeah, Callista / Velvet / Ambessa.
Yeah, Viego line is... Shadow Isle line I think is fairly good. I'm fairly happy to play around the Viego too. I think you still need Viego too. I think you need Yorick unlocked by 2-1, but that's easy now. You no longer have to commit an item to it. With Ambessa duo is like very normal. Like you just put the BT plus whatever other AD items you have, especially if she's the first 2-star you hit compared to Callista. I also think that the Slayer version is like fine. Like the Slayer version is cool. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it also seems a little bit hard to get your hands on the items. I guess you could like put like the QS and the QS and the Kraken make a lot of sense to go on the Viego. And I think playing towards it is actually good. I played like the Warden variation of Slayers, and I think that version is like very good. Or like a very good tool to have for bolstering your front line, because then you can kind of just like put whatever on the board and it helps a lot. So I would be fairly happy to play the Viego.
What does the Warden variant look like?
You literally like at a basic level, don't put builds in the board, but you play you play.
Are you not playing Noxus?
You don't have to play Noxus, no. Like the board I run can just run 2 Noxus. It's fine. Like the board is just like you just run Braum, Nautilus.
You just won
Loris, Swain, yeah. Like Swain, like Rek'Sai is fine. Like Swain, Rek'Sai, or like even Cog is okay. Like it runs like the ugliest trait web you've ever seen, but like it just doesn't matter. The wardens are good.
Okay, wardens are just too strong.
Yeah, and you can also run Noxus. Like what you can do at like a simple level is you can drop Rek'Sai Loris and you can play Alawi Scion. It's totally cool. The biggest idea is just that Braum is good and very important to hold.
Okay, so you feel like out of all the 4 costs, Braum is the best tank right now?
No, not necessarily. I feel like Braum is better than Taric, which I think matters, because your other best tank before was Taric. And I don't think this will show you what you would want to see. I think this tells you that Asol is good. Anyways,
okay.
And like Demacia. I think Braum is stronger than Taric, I also think that Braum is an additional tank that you can hit, which matters a lot in this board because you really, really, really need a good tank as quickly as you can, like a like a 4-cost or plus tank.
Okay, so then in Slayers, when you're doing your roll down, you're flexing between your front line could be basically Braum. If you unlock Herald, it could be that.
I think
it
if
could
you
be
have
Wukong
Herald, you're just playing Herald.
Right. Okay. These like kind of 4, and I guess you can even throw on Tarek, or you're not even holding this on your roll
Tarek
down.
is fine. Tarek good. I played Tarek in the tournament game yesterday. Tarek's good.
Okay, so you're just holding all of these on your roll down because you need to have something that holds up the front line.
Yeah, you need to have a premium tank. Yeah.
Okay.
Like every comp in the game needs a premium tank. Like Bilge spiked a lot with a premium tank. This comp needs a premium tank. Shadow Isles needs a premium tank. Like every comp in the game needs a premium tank.
Sounds good.
And like the adaptation, the preference for playing Braum is slightly an exploit, given that our belief was that people underplay the Braum. Like if Braum was the most contested unit in the game, then you would play the Braum, like then you would angle the Braum less, or like have less of an infinity to play around the Braum. But it's not the most contested unit in the game. That would be Swain. And you cannot rely on Swain being your only tank in the comp, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then in what spot would you, from the Callista board, go into trio carry with Callista, Ambessa, and Belveth? Is it only if you basically have Belveth items and not Thresh items?
Basically, I'll explain it. The setup, there's one of 2 setups that is common. The first setup is where you build multiple frontline AD items in succession. So like you have like QSS, Kraken, and then like DB, Striker, GS, some combination of those. That will usually just like happily be Ambessa, because like a lot of those items are just good on Ambessa, like the straight damage and the crit are good, and like Hodge and stuff. Especially if you build like a healing item, that usually wants to go on Ambessa. The other situation that happens sometimes is when you're forced to build something like Last Whisper and you're already on this line, or actually like the spot where you'd want to play Callista is if you can equip a Last Whisper on it, basically, and like maybe use your tiers for something that's more useful than like a second Hodge or something. So, or like if you're like forced to build a Shojin somehow, which probably shouldn't happen. So, basically, the Callista is useful for leveraging like a red buff or a Last Whisper and like overflow AD items. And the Ambessa is especially useful for leveraging a Hand of Justice plus leftover AD items. On the Shadow Isle line, we don't know if it might or might not be better to just full default the Belveth, because then you can like make use of like a Ginsu Titans healing, or like Ginsu Titans plus like any other damage item would be fairly chill as well, which are like the best items on Viego. Like the best items on Viego are almost exactly the Belveth items because they're the same kind of unit. That's like when you would really want to be able to leverage it. The Kraken's not that good on Viego, but everything else is very good, especially Titans. Yeah, so if you're forced to make those kinds of items, then I think playing towards the Slayers is quite good for you, I would imagine. It also helps to have like a lot of items. Somehow it's like quite a bit worse if you're sitting on like min components and like silver augments. Then you just don't have that many components. But that's a situation where you would want to angle from the Shadow Isles into the Belveth. And I think that's probably a very good adjustment. I forget that comp can run a Slayer. Oh yeah, you would just put the GP on the board. Yeah, the GP just goes on the board. And then you like, GP goes on the board, and if you don't have any items for Ambessa, you don't even have to put an Ambessa 1 on the board then. Because like the Ambessa 1 on those boards were very weak before. So you can kind of like play some more frontline, and that's pretty nice.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Echo, are you still How do you feel about Echo? It looks worse in the stats, both
Echo's
because of the
clearly
nerf
worse.
and Nico. Yeah, Nico's like contested by the Ishtal players.
Yeah, Echo's clearly worse. It also gets blown up by Asol in a way that it usually cannot come back from. So I think if your Echo spot's very good, it's chill. I've top forward with Echo on this patch. It comes from just relentless tempo. Like you do not want to have like I think it's quite bad to have a weak Echo spot. Because your Echo 3 or like Echo 2 just gets like 50 0'd by like any Asol board on stage 4. Even Echo 3 can lose if they have a good tank and like they've had the Asol for a few turns. So yeah, I think funnily enough, Bilge in the mid game was one of its better matchups, and you kind of don't have that anymore. So yeah, the line is fine. You want your spot to actually be good. I think on the old patch it was like one person per game should play Echo. On this patch, I think is probably you want to have a good spot for Echo to play.
Okay, last patch I was like perfectly willing to play into Echo from Lost Streak. What I'm hearing from you is like not worth playing from Lost Streak anymore.
I mean, like Lost Streak, if you have a good augment for it, it's chill. Like you don't want to take, you probably don't want to play Trade Sector into it from Lost Streak. But probably if you have Calc Loss and your opener was otherwise bad, or especially you have too much value and you get double the rolls that you normally get, then it's good, I think.
Although from those spots, wouldn't you just prefer angling Asol anyway?
Asol is the better angle from those lines, from those augments, yes. So you basically have no reason to want to play Echo.
Yeah, it's like true Lost Streak spots you want to go Asol,
I think you're right. I think Echo is truly tempo this patch. I realize, yeah.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Okay. Warwick looks pretty bad in the stats. Like 7's on seems like the best variant, but you're not gonna get unless you have spat. So like, Are you playing any Warwick at all?
I have not angled very much Warwick. I think if you have like a tempo-ish Zon spot, it's probably supposed to be Echo. If you have how can you even have a Lost Streak AD spot? Like a Lost Streak AD spot, bro. Those components don't even exist. Like other than sword, bow is half Nasher and glove is half JG. So I don't even know what you could be playing, and those are also good Kaisa components if you could soft loss into that. I don't think it has a place. Personally, right now, I would basically never angle it because I think it's dominated by some combination of Kaisa and Asol.
Yeah, makes sense. Maybe the only spot is like you're tempoing Echo full streak Titans BT, and then
whatever
you don't hit any more copies by like 3-2. So then maybe just tempo it into win streak Warwick.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Especially if you hit natural like a Vi 2 and it can hold it. That's probably what you would try to do. Like sometimes you'll be able to continue to tempo with a Vi 2. You have one Echo, and then you don't want to roll for it with no econ. So yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about this Aphelios Defender board now? Also runs into the issue of Nico being contested. But if let's say if Nico's not contested.
No, you can run other frontline. That's like that comp can actually run other frontline, I think.
So standard is
like you can just play the 2-star 4-cost tanks as well. Like you can play Loras 2 and Braum 2, it's okay, yeah.
Okay, so typically it's just either Defender or Warden.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your take on like what the spot is to go into this versus other spots?
It's like Aphelios tempo, pretty sure. Like it has to be tempo. You have to have an Aphelios. Heavy as the crown is good. Too much value is probably fine. With a reasonable board, you really want to have like either a bow or a sword item to start because those are not that easy to acquire. Yeah, and then you just try to get third or fourth, I think.
Freljord invokers with the buffs to Sedge and Braum. This is one of the bigger improvements aside from Asol, basically minus 0.4.
Yeah.
Diff. How do you feel about this? Is like the default 4-cost AP line?
The default.
I guess aside from Lux.
You're talking about 5 Freljord? Is that what you looked up, or?
This this one I think is 5 freljord, 4 invoker because Anivia was also buffed, right?
Did you filter out emblems?
Oh, no, I was just looking at the comps page.
Okay. Maybe I don't know. Like it might be the same anyways.
Which one is it? I think it's this one, but I guess this one's also highly dependent on Zillion.
Is it? It looks okay.
Oh, this one has an emblem.
No, it's no, that doesn't matter. So this is 5 freljord list solo. Nah, I don't trust this. So there's an Orn on the board. It's showing a level 9 board. Otherwise, there's no Warden on the board. What does it say the average is?
I mean, this is probably skewed by people getting to level 9.
Oh, it's only showing level 8 boards. Okay, yeah, sure. No, that's fair.
These are the 8 boards.
How do the level 9 boards do? I mean, they're level 9.
These are no emblems.
Yeah. I don't trust this as a hard lean. What I mean by that is I don't know if you load up into the game or like load up into a spot and like, all right, I'm gonna play exactly this board on level 8. I think that's probably bad. The strategy that kind of works is like knowing your range of options for playing AP off a bruiser opener on your level 8 roll down, which comprises of some combination. We can go over the board real quick if you want. It's like
that's good. So this is from a Scion opener typically?
Yeah, Scion or a Nivea 3 freljord opener is also good. So yeah.
Nivea 3 freljord. Okay, so I'm very familiar with this.
Or like a Nivea Nico is also good.
So this is like something like, wait, now you want to play it around, where is she? This?
Yeah. The Aurelion is really good and free. Yep. Yeah, this is
okay. Which opener do you like more, Scion or this?
I know the bottom opener is stronger. It's just harder to get it. Like it's hard to get a Sejuani. Like the bottom.
Are you willing to play this around Ori 1, Sedge 1?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how you could have them 2-star, but yeah, they would be very good to play around on 1-star. I don't mind a Sejuani 1 on stage 2.
So either of these openers can lead us to. Let me first copy this. So this is like, these are like kind of the standard these are the standard invoker openers, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
All right. And then you're saying on the level 8 roll down, you want to flex what?
Yeah. So you need a frontline first. So your frontline is gonna be flexing between Loris, Braum, or Wukong, Kabuko, or Terra. Yeah, you have this about right. Yeah.
Because you already have Kabuko.
Yeah, you should have Kabuko. So like Terra is just flexible. And then if you run the Loris, you will for sure put a Seraphine on your board for sure. Sometimes
you're playing Liss.
Yeah, you'll play Liss all the time. And then if you don't have the left side, okay, so if you have the right side, is a bit harder to do without having a Kennen. Like you can.
Yeah, this was like the old volley rise basically angle.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, it's the same kind of board, right? It's like what else fits on that board? Like Kennen makes it solvent. Yeah, like this, we'll comp it together. Yeah, basically that. Left board is just like, it's just that plus volley as well, if possible. Like these lines all want volley. Like your game is very hard to play if you don't have volley bear. It's okay if you're like waiting on it for a little bit. You would just hold one copy of the other freljord so that you can at least complete freljord on the board, I think, and then you can like replace a random slot, especially if you don't have Tarek, with like a random bruiser that you have, and then make a reasonable board in the middle. But just know that you're trying to play either around like Braum as your tank with like Laura Seraphine, or Wukong as or just Wukong as your tank, and you just carry a list, and like you can even throw in like a Zillion somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, so in the Scion opener is like way easier to unlock volley. If we are not playing around the Scion opener, then we really need belts, right?
Yeah.
Belt to become Prios off Carousel or like Belt Augment.
Yeah.
In the case, I've also seen people do like this 6 bruiser set with
Yeah, I don't think that's really
Sakura.
real. Wait, when have you seen
Okay.
that? Recently?
I saw it in multiple games and scrims.
Interesting. Did it look good?
It looked reasonably good, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it was just all the bruisers plus because you already have the 2 Ionian bruisers that you just throw in a
Like I
set.
know the line. You just play 6. Is this from lifting competition or they're just playing it in general or what?
I
You
think
can
they were
play this
just
as
playing it in
like this is
general.
like a fine cheat to get to 9. Like if your spot's good, like
What it allowed is that
it's easier
if
to
you already
unlock.
have
Yeah.
if you already have JG, then you don't even need to like roll for list 2. You already have a strong tank here, and then if you have items for both of these, like, and you're unlocking this, you have like, I mean, Edge of Night's pretty strong now. But if you have something like this plus whatever 1 or 2 tank items here, like these two seem to like be very stable. Like they were either winning fights or losing fights by like only a little bit.
Yeah. No, they're good for that. I would be surprised if tournament play. I would be surprised if tournament play actually matched. Like if the boards were that
That's
weak
fair.
on like if they
Because people were also experimenting with Asol,
they're
like,
playing
and just
some
shit
dog
boards.
shit. Yeah. No, those scrims always lean really greedy, which makes this better. And then it's just
Makes
never
sense.
greedy in the actual tournament.
Yeah, and I guess old volley rise, like you really didn't want to roll much on 8, but now it's like maybe because of the level change where it costs 8 more gold, you just generally don't want to angle level 9 unless you're like in a super premium spot, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So most of the time when you're playing freljord bruiser now, you expect to roll pretty deep on 8, I assume.
I mean, the 9 is just hella. The 9 is just really expensive, right? And like, oftentimes you need at least 2-star Kabuko, otherwise you won't be able to unlock the volley bear. I guess if you have like a very strong long stacking sound, it's fine, or like a Wormogs, it makes it easy. But yeah.
Well, the other thing with 6 bruiser is you have a much higher likelihood of being able to unlock Volibear with just a 2-star
that will be
Scion
easy.
that's been stacking.
That will be easy with this.
So
board.
you get like a double benefit, and it's like kind of cheap. You don't need to roll.
Yeah, like you try this out. This is like the sugar board from Paris. I would be surprised if this does consistently well, is what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the most part, this is kind of how you're thinking about it, and the list Seraphine board gets a lot better if you have
Azir?
Disruptor or Invoker Emblem.
Oh, Disruptor Emblem's like insanely
and then
broken
also
on
Azir.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Although if you have Invoker Emblem, do you want to just hard force Asol?
I don't know how you get into that spot. What spot do you have Invoker?
I don't know. Like, let's say you have.
It have to be like exactly Rise or something like.
Or like you're tempoing this board, and then like I don't know, you get dropped a pan off of loot sub, or
if you're tempoing this board, you would make Bruiser Emblem. Bruiser Emblem's better.
Bruiser Emblem's better.
It's just better. You can drop a Tarek in a lot of cases and go up a tier in Bruisers.
Okay. So I guess the other thing is, if you are tempoing either of these lines, but you natural a Tarek in stage 3, are you willing to pivot to Asol at that point?
Yeah, you should. If your items are, you should. Especially if you're winning, your spot's good, your items are reasonable. You want to go back and look for like you always want to be holding like the Aphelios just in case. But oh wait, the Tarek helps. Yeah, the Tarek helps. The Tarek is like you're gonna have to roll deep on 7 actually. In the spot that you have, which I think is fine. Like you get Asol is actually he's actually hella flexible. I think you can literally play him on this board, and it's like actually totally fine. And it would be good as well. Because he's like truly traitless, right? And like this board gives him some reasonable buffs. The other board gives him some reasonable buffs. I think you could just play him on this board, and it would be good. is what you would try to do. You would just have to roll deep on 7 to have the unlocks.
Okay. So what I'm seeing here is that by default, this Scion LeBlanc opener leans more towards the Bruiser variant, and then this Anivia Oriana Sedge board leans more towards this Seraphine Loris variant.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And then if you happen to natural a Taric on stage 3, if you're like ahead of tempo, you level the 7 on 3-5, you natural Taric on 3-6, then you just pivot to Asol. Well, so you roll for
you have to roll for Leona on 7. You can't
Leona
roll for
too,
Leona on 8, yeah.
Although I feel like by default you would just get out of. Well, I guess if you hit a Loris 2, then you could just stay in this board. But by default, you would go towards the old like Diana board without Diana.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I guess with Diana. But okay, that makes sense.
The funny thing is, the left board is actually a little bit easier to unlock Kennen with, because the right, like the Scion opener only runs Shen 2. This one the opener should run 2 defenders. So like if you upgrade one of them, it becomes easier to do. It's also a little bit easier to upgrade them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's a good observation. I think the key insight I have is when going this opener, you really got prio belts to unlock volley.
Yep.
Okay. Void Kaisa is the singed variant, the standard that you're rolling for on level 8, or like are you flexing it? How are you thinking about level 8 for Void? I think
the Bruiser board is better to play. I also don't think you're supposed to flex that version. The big reason why, especially now, is now the Ziggs is not as good as it was before. So it makes less sense to invest, like to sack some of your strength on level 8 to be able to play it, I think. Or like to empower your Ziggs on level 9. Because that's the reason why you played the other board. Because like partly because it was cheap, and partly because Ziggs was empowered by that other board. I would be happy playing what you're showing on the screen right now. You would play the Swain. The Swain does go on the board, I think.
Oh right, Swain, I forgot.
Yeah, and then you play Kabuko. You play Kabuko over Shen. Kabuko is better. Kabuko is broken, in fact.
Okay, and so you have in your notes AD Kaisa better than AP Kaisa. If we're playing the Arcanist,
they're about the same.
Okay, because if this is your standard variant with 4 Bruiser and you're playing Swain Cog, like I assume you prefer AP then, because so you don't like really waste this trait value.
It doesn't matter. I think the trait is like perfectly reasonable as some trickle value to your frontline units. And there's just no AD Arcanist either, so like the comparison is like it's kind of balanced around the AD not having that trait that buffs it really.
Okay. So are you're saying you're not flexing this at all? You're just forcing this.
This is just the better version to play towards, I think.
Okay. I think we had talked last time about I'm riveting if you have blast shields doing the Piltover like this variant. You think is even with blast shields that's just not worth going? I forget exactly what the board was. It was with like a Singe as well.
I think if you somehow have extra items for Seraphine, this version's good to play. How many units do we drop here? We drop... Yeah, okay. Wukong.
2, 4, 6, 8, like this, yeah. It's like much cheaper board, I think.
Is it much cheaper? I don't think it's much cheaper.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
not much cheaper. We also don't run Swain. Wait, you would play Swain over Singed, right? Yeah, it's not Singed, it's Swain.
Right.
Yeah, this I would only play this board if I have items for Seraphine.
Okay.
Which can make it fine to make items for Seraphine. Like if you're somehow like on like a bunch of items somehow, you can just go like 3 item Kate, 3 item Seraphine, and then put them onto the Seraphine. It's chill.
So for the 4 bruiser variant, do you usually want to itemize volley 1 as your dual carry?
You have nowhere else to put your items, so yes.
Okay. Okay, so basically standard is this, but if you happen to have an overflow of AP items, then you can go into this variant.
Sure, yeah. Which I think is kind of rare.
Yeah. And I think it's like that, and you have blast shields, right?
If you have like something yeah. I mean, if you have
Or like
overflow
hogs.
AP, I don't even know like if you're generally allowed to have overflow AP.
Okay. All right. Rigs, I assume we're just not really playing anymore.
Probably not. I've seen it do okay, but like if you have, it's like exactly a tempo RE with like an Econ Ionia spot, and this makes sense to play into, I think, because like you hold way more of that board playing that line compared to anything else.
Although even with that line, wouldn't you just prefer angling into the Seraphine Annie board that we talked about?
I mean, that one you might want to play. I don't even know. I think the versions with Set and Zillion of the Annie board are probably better right now.
Oh, the like OG.
Yeah, the OG version.
Yordle.
Yeah.
Okay.
The difference is that I think there used to be a higher prio on Senna than there is now, I believe.
Right. Okay, or you could just flex it. I guess it also depends on your items, like whether you're going rigs or RE.
It depends on your items. Yeah, it depends.
Or I mean, Annie.
It does. Annie needs like Annie wants pretty specific items. Yeah.
Okay. 7 Noxus, how are you feeling about... I guess we're still playing the Scion LeBlanc openers, which, because you can't really get to level 9 as easily as before, this could be another out aside from the freljord board that we talked about.
Yeah, I think the comp is pretty reasonable for sure.
Okay.
You want to have tempo. If you don't have tempo, you're 8th. This is like purely a tempo comp. Like you need your opener to be good. You need to take an augment that helps make your board stronger. You might need to roll for some of the 2-stars at some point, and you need to get the 7 Noxus online early-ish, which might mean you're kind of at the will of Darius showing up on time.
Right, and this is no good anymore.
It doesn't look good.
Small sample, but yeah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Okay. Slayers and Belveth. Basically no change in the stats. I would have expected Belveth to look a little bit better because of the Void mod change. What's your thoughts on that? Could also be that this is Diamond Plus, and so a lot of them don't know how to play it or aren't playing it optimally.
I'm pretty sure they just play the comp. Wait, what is Slayer Belveth? That's different from GP reroll. Is it just no GP3 or what?
Or yeah, this is just Belveth and Bessa primary. Oh. This is like primary GP.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of spots you're not supposed to play Bilgewater on the board. That's all. I think it's better if you don't play Bilgewater, and I don't think that's reflected well on the stats.
Okay, so you like this line still?
Yep.
And then we're probably just angling GP a little bit less.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it. Ishtal reroll, still like it a lot, right?
Yeah.
In the right spot.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that covers that spreadsheet. What are you playing from Lost Streak right now?
Asol.
Yeah. Asol.
Especially with like a Lost Streak augment, it's Asol. Otherwise, it's probably Slayers. Otherwise, and like you're not even that happy about it. I don't know if there's much else you'd want to play. Part of Slayers, I think. Okay,
not Warwick. Lost Streak into Kaisa.
Kaisa's fine. Yeah. If you can cook up the Void, Kaisa's very reasonable.
Okay, so it's really about having Rift Herald at a reasonable time.
Yeah, Slayers, you don't have to have the Rift Herald. Like if you're cooking up Econ with Bilge, it's fine as well.
Right. Okay. So AP is really just Lux and the Seraphine slash
Yeah,
Lissandra
Flex.
angle.
Yeah, AP Flex is some kind of freljord base board, or like in rarer cases, a Seraphine Swain base board.
Yeah, and this board is probably you were trying to go for Asol and you missed.
Or like you were, or like you're just opener. Like I could see it. I could realistically see a world where you have like just a strong generic AP opener. You like have an Ari, or you have like, what the hell else could you have? I realize like all the one cost AP is like not that good. Yeah, like you have an Ari or you have a Zoe. Yeah, there are not good 2-cost AP carries at all. Actually, you could be like
It was just Teemo, right?
Yeah,
But you're not
Tebow.
usually holding.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Okay, it's like
You're
or
not
like a
holding
Nivea
these
2.
really.
Yeah, it's like you have Ari, Zoe, or Nivea 2, you slam good tempo items, like good strong items, then you can just like go up and play the Seraphine board, especially if like that's more of the fun that you hit, I suppose. It's like just like strong AP opener, I think is totally allowed to play into that board. You just roll for the Seraphine, you play the units on your board. If you natural enough Leonas, then you can slam the Asol on the board and you do well. Otherwise, you'll be okay otherwise as well. And then that would probably be the spot where you level to 9 for the Annie and like slap the mana items on the Annie and call it a day.
Okay.
But it requires
going to your
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that requires a good understanding of how to make a good AP board. You play a bad AP board, you're instantly 8th. I'm pretty sure trying to play that because the comp is not easy to navigate. I think, or at least for me, it would not be easy to navigate. I've seen like Dish Open Wage and Do Well. They're quite proficient on those lines.
Okay. On the subject of sub-regionals this weekend and our conversation about having more decision points, which lines do you feel like on your tier list support this idea more, and which lines do you feel like don't as much?
Yeah, I'll add a quick caveat to that you gotta be good enough to beat the Asol boards on average, which is not the easiest thing to do, but it is doable. But back to that, I think Yunara you can get there. I think Slayers you can get there.
Actually, maybe before we even get to this, on your point about Asol, what are the best comps that go into Asol? At least preserve the most HP.
Yeah, it's the one that preserves the most. It's whatever like tempo you have, like tempo echo, tempo reroll, like Aphelios, high tempo Slayers, high tempo void, all the stuff that preserves HP. You just have to beat everyone else. You need to beat most of the other players who are not playing Asol on stage 2 and stage 3, essentially. Like you're not gonna counter all of them, but you'll hopefully for sure counter 1 or 2 of them if there's like 2 or 3 in total.
Okay, so basically, you don't. Once Asol hits, there's no counter.
The highest roll Asol player will probably win the lobby. The rest will probably bot for.
Right. Okay.
So if you're not playing Asol and you're not getting like a really powerful spot, I would not expect to be able to beat it. Because if they like live at, because it just comes down to you're improving your board with gold, they're improving their board with gold, and their board just gets stronger every 2 turns by like another like 12%. They just get almost a gold augment every 2 turns, and then like what can you do?
Yeah. Okay. All right, back to this question.
Yeah. Comp list, decision points. I'd say like Ishtal can actually do fairly reasonably because it can get to a spot where it can win on stage 4. Like Ticket, Ishtal is like probably what you would reasonably try to play, other than playing Asol yourself in a majority of cases. Otherwise, I think Slayers has like a lot of those decision points. I think Yunara has a lot of those decision points too. I think Void does as well. I think Demacia probably does as well. There's some like playing strongest board, picking right augments, all those stuff. Leveling when it counts, etc. I think like these are like the good like the fast 8 strategy played well from good spots, like being able to identify those good spots generally are able to are basically on average able to allow you to gain incremental advantage over your opponents by just playing better. That requires you to play better and requires you to get like a reasonable roll. Like you won't always do better even if you play the best. And it also requires you to like really not bleed lives, which I think is both important and kind of hard to do, just on making like snappy, quick decisions every turn. But this is the way that you would do it, I think.
Okay. And what lines have less decision points? I assume Asol falls in that category if we're hard forcing.
Asol, high econ Asol has like econ Asol force has less decision points. I think like opportunistic Asol kind of has a lot of decision points, but like yeah. I think like open echo, I think like technically the Sona, all the Sona lines have very few decision points. I think Noxus technically has less, like not very many decision points. This is like vertical Noxus. Vayne has not that many, but like either the line is good or not, right? Like if it's good enough, then it doesn't really matter, right? Like if it's good enough, then you would still do it because it just wins on average. Those are the main ones I can think of, like on the list. That's like a lot of the comps, anyways, I think.
Okay, so it sounds like by default, if I just like focus on these 4 as the main ones to play like 80% of my games on, then
this
I
is
should
a
be
very good foundational general strategy.
Yeah.
That's what
I should be able to farm a bunch of top 4s.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
And then
like,
just let the Asols win, and I take my humble second or thirds.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Given that we only have about 5 minutes left, let's talk about Asol then.
Yeah.
How forcible do you feel like Asol is, and in what spots are you? Like basically, what I'm thinking right now, it's either you have a hard loss streak econ force Asol, or you're playing it from opportunistic tempo AP.
I think there's an.
Or do you think it's more forcible than that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I think about the comp. I think you can just jam your highest econ option on 2-1. Especially if you take one of the good ones, or like one of the ones that give you a lot of gold, like savings account or ticket or like hedge fund. Ticket you might have to econ because that doesn't give you actual gold. But like savings account, hedge fund, calculus, too much value, I think kind of counts as well. Okay, calculus is a little bit different because you're more incentivized to lose. But what I'm about to say is that like you don't like the condition for doing well in this comp is A, being able to hit early enough. I would say by like 4-2 or 4-3 your Asol, and B, being able to win stage 4. And like your job is not that hard to be able to win stage 4. I actually had a session earlier that where I went over this already. So like if you want to, it would be in my VOD. It's like near the start of the VOD where like I talk about this kind of in depth. So I would recommend watching it after if you have the time. Okay. But basically it's like you need to meet these 2 conditions, and in order to meet them, having the HP is also good. Or like having HP I think is also valuable if you're not going to be too short in gold, because every turn you live, you also get stronger, and like you're not going to be able to win 100% of your rounds on stage 4. The board just doesn't exactly do that. But you want to like make a stable board on stage 4 and then be able to go 9. So in essence, it's a fast 9 comp is what it is. It's a fast 9 comp that has some timers to roll before. It has some timers to roll before then. But really it's a fast 9 comp. And fast 9 comps, you can't just like nowadays, you can't just take full econ and then just go to 9. Like you can't do that and then lose all your rounds. You can't do that. You have to like find the rounds where it's opportunistic to win and do it where it's efficient to squeak out enough HP and gold to be able to get to 9 and win, essentially. Or to be able to get to 9 and hit your board and then win the game from there.
let's say in a standard game where I take a good econ augment
Yep.
and I'm 2 to 3 way contested, what do you think is the AVP from that spot and the average outcomes? It's basically like what in my mind is basically a 7th or 8th or like a top 2. Does that seem about right? In most spots.
Yeah, or it doesn't have to be 7th or 8th. I've seen like you can get some middling placements. If your spot is worse, you should like try to roll more aggressively on 8. And like you should try to roll more aggressively on 8 and not plan to get to 9 if you think the other guy's spot is better, because then you're trying to play like play for placements if they can just get to 9 and win the game and you can't. If that's the case, you want to take like maybe some more items, but especially like some more combat to make your Asol stronger and hopefully help boost the rest of your board. Make a reasonable rest of your board and then hope it goes well from there, I think. The mistake I see people do is they like try to greed. Like if the moment you make a mistake in trying to greed 9 when you don't have the best spot, you're just 8 a lot of the time. Unless you're both in quite strong spots. I've seen that happen before as well. But if your spot is like not as good, like I think like playing for the level 8 is like it very rare that it's bad EV to play for the level 8.
Okay. And related to that is how long do you want to keep extra Targon in to get extra stacks?
I think you should never even consider that when determining what should go on your board. I think the difference is too little.
Because if you play 4 or 5, you're getting double the amount of stacks, right? So
if you play like 4 or 5, you're losing every round on stage 4, and then you die. I'm pretty sure like trying to greed stacks. Like I just think like the amount of stacks you greed. I'll say my point first, and I'll let you ask the question. Basically, I think if you ever lose a single one of like the 3 or 4 lives you had because you greeted like 30 or 40 shards, or like maybe even 50 shards, it's just not worth it. The board, like the fact that you're losing slots in your board that give you better units, that give you more frontline and more like team-wide buffs, it just doesn't make it like is very likely to make you lose, and the benefit is very unlikely to make you win, is what I think.
Okay. The one spot that I was going to throw out there as an exception would be if you
no shred
were high HP
and
you were
high HP. Don't care.
You
still play strongest board. Yeah.
High HP still the strongest board.
High HP, if you lose a life because you play a Targon, you lose it on the tail end of your like if you go from 7 lives to 6 because you greeted extra Stardust, I'd rather have the extra round to farm. But you farm.
Although what if you know you're gonna lose anyway? Like then you might as well put it in there.
No, if you lose anyways and you play an Aphelios instead of like a Nico, you could get one more cast and you get more shards as well. Like it's the same idea. Or like you're playing Aphelios, or like a Diana instead of like a Skarner. Sometimes it can cause the same kind of thing to happen.
Okay, that makes sense. From an itemization standpoint, are you just basically always prioing JG Nasher and then tank items?
Yeah, the second Nasher is very good, by the way. Like, I love having the second Nasher. You gotta do what you gotta do. Like the Shojin or the blue gotta come, but like the second Nasher is really good.
And if you have enough to get JG double Nasher and main tank, is the next item prio Diana into Renekton or Silas as like your dual carry?
Yes, but you would prefer to not have those items if possible. Like you'd prefer to take a combat augment on 4-2, I believe.
Okay.
I mean, you got Diana too. Like, I think the TG is really efficient. I don't know if the main carry items are that efficient, to be honest. Especially because I think generally you want to be trying to take Leona off your board if possible, and the moment that unit's off your board, your Diana is like actually a wet noodle.
Okay, so usually on level 8, it's like the Targons that you are.
Yeah.
The Targons that you are keeping in is Taric, Leona 2, and Diana 2.
Yeah.
Drop everyone else.
If you've watched Zoe,
unless you need shred.
No.
No, even if you need shred, you drop.
If you've watched a Zoe fight, if the Zoe doesn't have any mana, it literally your Asol cast first, then your Zoe cast, then the shred runs out, and then your Asol casts again, and then Zoe casts again, and then your Asol gets value on third. It just doesn't. It doesn't do anything. It basically doesn't do anything.
Okay. How about Diana 1?
If you have one mana item on Zoe, the interval is good. But if you have no items on Zoe, the interval is terrible. I like Void Staff, because then like your Seraphine or whoever can like get it on the main tank on the first auto attack. That's good. I'll take that. But the Zoe itself, the interval is actually terrible.
Okay. How about Diana 1? Drop that too.
Diana 1, not that useful. I like Skarner a lot. Like Skarner, I think is actually very valuable, and I think it's useful to play towards both the Skarner and the Silas in this line. Like the thing is, like when you run into like the mirrors, playing around those things actually makes the difference.
So it should really be holding Jarvan's early game.
Yeah, Jarvan's for the free Jarvan too. Yeah, like you roll enough on 7 usually that like you were probably supposed to hit it, and then like if you are in like a level 8 situation, which happens sometimes, you want to be able to hit the 1 copy of Silas as well. Silas don't like consider Silas to be super strong. He's not much better than a 1-star 5 cost on the board, but 2-star he's great. TG he's fine. Extra items better than on Diana 1. Probably honestly better than Diana 2 if you don't have Leona in.
Okay. And on this line, are you seeing it mostly played with double econ now, or you prefer just the single econ and then hopefully get into combat?
I don't think double econ's that good. I think it's like 1 good econ and then items and then combat or 2. The items give you the mid game, like the spike on 3-5 to be able to win. They also mean that you're likely to be 3 item on stage 4, which is good. And then you just want the combat to give your board more frontline, or especially to make your Asol do more damage. I think Asol doing more damage, like both of them kind of do the same thing, but Asol doing more damage is really, really good. He's a burst guy. Your frontline is not as good as some of the other frontlines in the game, but like you just blow up the whole board.
Right. What are the best combat augments that you like for this line?
Lotus is good. I think technically Warlord should be decent, but I don't know. That one is a little bit slow, but like this guy really, really wants base stats. I think. Let me take a quick look. Augments.
And usually you're talking about 4-2, right? Soul Awakening?
Yeah, 4-2. Soul Awakening is pretty decent. It's a little slow, but it's fine. Anything that gives you a dupe is insane, because if you high-roll the second copy on level 8, you win the game. So like 1 buff, 2 buff, like max build if you need the gold. Like those are econ augments, right? Well, especially 1 buff, 2 buff on 3-2 or 4-2 are good, especially if you're missing like one of the like burn, for example. Bro, they're like Exiles is okay. Spirit Link is pretty good. These offensive, there are not that many of these offensive ones, honestly. Like Best Friends is decent in this calm. Low key Glass is pretty chill, I think. Glass should be good. It should be good. You
There's less fizz running around, less TFs.
There's no fizz, there's no TF, there's enemy Dianas, I guess. Like anything that gets their backline was killing your guys anyways. Lux like is not the hardest position around. Yeah.
Elia said hold the line.
I mean, Staffsmith is just generally good. That thing gives you too many items. Like you can just put the extra items in the
What about stuff like last second save? I guess you said Exiles, but like
it's fine.
You want stuff that blows stuff up faster rather than sustains your team longer.
Yes, but there's just the number of those augments literally just don't fucking exist. Like they're just not in the game.
Okay, so it's just stuff that helps your team combat wise.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I think that is all my Asol questions. Cool, this is super helpful.
Cool, sounds good. Best of luck playing and practicing. I will
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, talk to you later.
Yeah, see ya.